Good afternoon. How are you today? Yes, Isaac. Fire away. What's going on?
Good. All right, sir. I had a thought on the Giants draft that I wanted to run by you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you caught me in my workout. Anyway, I think the Giants made their decision what they're going to do with the future last year. I remember listening to you when the whole Eli Manning was benched.
Right.
And you actually agreed with the Giants, and I did too, that, hey, we need to start evaluating the future. Eli Manning looks a little...
The problem the Giants made there, I had no problems benching Eli, but Davis Webb should have played, not Geno Smith. They should have made sure that Davis Webb had enough reps over the previous weeks that when they decided to make the quarterback switch, Webb should have been the quarterback. The Giant fan wanted nothing to do with Geno Smith, and that's what turned everybody off to the idea of McAdoo benching Eli to play somebody else. The Giant fan, the haughty, Connecticut-based Giant fan that likes to see him or her above the Jet fan. And we're not a Jet fan. I'm a Giant fan. That's the way they are. They could not stomach the fact that the beloved Eli, who won 2 Super Bowls, was being benched. The great Eli, nicest guy in the world, never said boo, being benched by that erotic nutball, Geno Smith. That's the mistake the Giants made.
And that's my point. And then that leads into the question I wanted to ask you. So my point was the management and the fan base chose nostalgia, because Eli was great in those 2 Super Bowls, rather than looking forward to the future. And so now the new coach, new GM, Eli is more powerful than them. And so they can't – I agree with you, they are not getting a quarterback, but I think that they're passing up on an opportunity. How often do they have the second pick in the draft? As this organization, they have a good opportunity to get a quarterback. Right. But like I said, they're locked into Eli, and I don't think that's the best decision. What do you your opinion is better?
Listen,
moving with Eli or moving with a high –
I get it. I think if the Giants felt that the quarterback available in this draft was a surefire Hall of Famer, and you can never be convinced or know at that position. But let's say Elway was there. Let's say Aikman was there. Let's say a quarterback that we all felt pretty confident in that was going to be great. And you never know, because a lot of number 1 picks stink. Jamarcus Russell, Joey Harrington, go on and on and on. Achilles Smith, Tim Couch. A lot of these quarterbacks are awful. But let's say the Giants really felt they had the right guy at that pick. I think the Giants would draft him. I think the combination of Eli, in the Giants' eyes, still having plenty of football left in him, and the fact that the Giants don't necessarily love any of the 4 guys, I think that makes the Giants pass on a QB. Now, a lot of people think they love Donald, that he's a perfect Giant. So maybe they will have a chance to go out there and Donald will be sitting there. I think Donald's going to be the first pick. But maybe they will have a chance to draft him, and that theme I just gave you will be challenged. We're going to have to wait and see on that. Too soon yet. Here is Mike in California. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hey, Chris. I wanted to talk about some of the points you've made in the past and kind of use them against you. Barkley played at Penn State. Penn State has a disaster of history of running backs. Shajon Carter went number 1.
Now, he was hurt. Don't forget, Shajon Carter had a major injury. I mean, you can't bring him up. You want to bring up Blair Thomas, Curtis Ennis? You want to bring up guys like that? Go ahead. You can't bring up Shajon Carter. He ripped his knee up. I mean, that's not fair. That you can't do.
Fine. So then those guys, they failed, so that means he's going to fail. How about this? Second, the biggest game he ever played in his college career was last year's Ohio State game. He had 10 carries for 9 yards in the second half.
Yeah, he also ran back a kickoff for a touchdown, but I understand.
That was in the first half. In the second half, he did nothing.
Right, you're right.
In the second half, he did nothing.
He didn't do anything.
He did nothing, and he's not going to be a kick returner in the NFL. So who cares about his kickoff returning? Next, I remember. So it's all about the system. Cal had a history of awful quarterbacks. You bet anytime that Cal quarterback was on the board, you would bash them.
Well, Kyle Bowler, people like that. Yeah, I understand. Go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers came along. He's pretty good. I mean, you could rip him, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
So
yeah.
The system doesn't really mean anything. It's the player. You're telling me if I took Tom Brady and I put him at a school that has a bad history of quarterbacks, suddenly Tom Brady wouldn't have been at least a decent quarterback?
So what's your point? Your point is Donald's going to be a great player. I can't bring up the quarterback?
Yeah, who cares about other USC quarterbacks? It didn't stop Aaron Rodgers from being great. Why is it going to stop Sam Darnold? Even the coaches aren't even the same. It's just the uniform. You're telling me a uniform can just ruin a quarterback what college he played for?
Fair. You can have that point. Now, they've had a lot of lousy quarterbacks in the NFL who we all thought were going to be great. Sanchez, Leinart, first 8th pick. Sanchez traded up 3rd pick. Palmer, underachieved in the NFL. We've gone through this, so, I mean, that's 3 fairly current additions. But I understand. If I'm going to be, I guess if I want to be consistent, there's been plenty of other schools that haven't had the great player historically at a position, and that player then comes in and turns out to be great. Aaron Rodgers is a perfect example. So I get that. Justin is in Montgomery, New York, wherever that might be, and he says hello. Justin, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have?
How you doing, Chris? First time, long time.
Nice to have you aboard, Just. What's on your mind now? Let me hear. Fire away.
Well, I'm a long-time Jets fan, and I just really wanted to run this by you and ask you. So the Jets moved up a few spots from 6 to 3 by trading 3 second-round draft picks.
Right.
Now, you seem to be in agreement with me where none of the quarterbacks stand out above the others.
Correct.
So why waste 3 second-round picks to get a quarterback?
Because the Jets have to come out of this draft with the quarterback. The Giants do not. The Giants do not have to come out of this draft. The Jets, and nor do the Colts. The Jets have to come out of this draft with the QB. That's why.
No, I agree with you, but my point is you have, if you want to cut Lamar Jackson, you have 5 quarterbacks, and at 6, you're going to get a quarterback regardless. So why waste 3 second-round picks after striking out in free agency with, I don't know. I just don't understand why you had to blow that many picks to get a quarterback that's not going to be that much better than the other at best.
Well, I mean, they obviously must feel after all the work they did at the Combine that Lamar Jackson, who they could have had at 6, is not as good as the other 4. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. They must feel that the other 4, and moving up to 3 guarantees you at least one of them, they're significantly better than, say, Lamar Jackson. And now at 6, they wouldn't have gotten those 4. So they felt that one of the 4 they end up getting is worth 3 second-round picks. 4 o'clock, we're turning our attention to the NBA. We'll get back to the calls. Lots going on.